Hello, and today we're going to be making salt and pepper sausage rolls. I asked at work what would someone like to see, and with a little shout out to Alma, she gave us a suggestion of salt and pepper rolls. So I went to the supermarket to get myself some seasoning, and they didn't have a mix. So I've had to make my own. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So first thing, I'm making my own mix. I've got 3 tablespoons of salt. Obviously the salt in the salt and pepper. We have a tablespoon of sugar, just adds a little bit of sweetness. Then we have what people pretend not to like, MSG, gives a lot of umami, a lot of savouriness. And speaking of savoury, we then move on to garlic. Got 2 teaspoons of garlic. Then we've got into aromatics. We have a teaspoon of ginger and half a teaspoon of 5-spice, Chinese 5-spice that is. If you use too much of that, it starts to taste a bit floury, as in bouquet flowers. I don't know. Then we go into our spice, our actual heat. So we'll get a little bit from the ginger, of course. Then we've got 2 teaspoons of white pepper. You could use black, but I think white pepper's best for this. And we've got 2 teaspoons of chili flakes, the star of the show, really. Now, I've used basic chili here. You could use Szechuan, if I'm pronouncing that right, pepper, but I didn't have any available. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this in a jar, give it a little shake, and prep the rest of the meal. And we'll come back and do and we'll get making some sausage rolls.
Hello from the edit room. So, mic's not working again. Surprise, surprise. But never mind, I'll get that fixed going forward. So, let's look at our ingredients. We've got our sausage meat, 400 grams, our pre-rolled puff pastry, 2 spring onions, and our spice mix. In addition, I've also prepared the egg for the egg wash for later. So, this is quite a simple one, really. There's no messing around, like grating things or anything like that. And this spice mix can be used for anything. It's great, if I'm honest with you. Anywho, in the past I've been guilty of being too subtle, under spicing, under seasoning the sausage meat because I don't want to overwhelm the sausage. But what's the point of that? Let's overwhelm the sausage. Let's see if this flavour comes through. So what I've done is I've added 2 good-sized teaspoons of the mix into the meat. I forgot the onions, but I'll get to that later. Now, what I want to do, and this is something I'm going to do going forward, is before I commit to making the roll, I'm going to just cook off a little bit of the sausage meat. This will do 2 things. One, I'll be able to see what happens to the liquid. Is it sitting in a pool of water? If so, I can add some sort of binder, some flour or something like that, or some breadcrumbs, whatever. And the other thing is we can determine if this tastes good. Is the flavour coming through? If it is, great. We can get to it. We can start building up our sausage rolls. If it's not, I can add more seasoning and mix it through and so on. Because ultimately, it's not a case of does this. We 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 want this to work. We want to create new things, new flavors. So let's make it work. So as I say, I've just mixed this through. That looks pretty much ready to go. I'm going to cut up a little piece of that, and we will get that into the oven. We'll come back. We'll see how that tastes, and then we'll decide what we need to do next. Okay.
Hello and welcome back. Hopefully I've resolved my little sound issue. Okay, so cook a little bowl of sausage. Let's give it a go. See if the flavour comes through, if I need to adjust this. Flavour comes through. Wow. I've got to approve this mix. This is exactly what you'd expect from like a pub, a Chinese restaurant, a takeaway. Bloody hell. So salt first, but the heat immediately builds. And you've got multiple heat sources. You've got the ginger, you've got the white pepper, you've got the chili flakes. you've got the umami of the MSG, the salt's coming through. It's excellent. And I do not need to add to that. I might have actually overdone it, if I'm honest. So, what we're going to do, something I've done a lot of times already, is we're going to make a big roll. So, sausage shape. Don't worry if it's a little bit uneven. Really working this. Right. Okay. So just grab tissues. So I've got my egg wash ready. We'll do the roll up. A little bit of egg here to act as an adhesive. Tuck it in, I want it relatively tight. Okay. Then put it out, detach, flatten slightly, egg wash again. Going to be a pro at this. And then we're going to cut this into, I think I want to do 8 per roll. Gives a total of 24. Okay, little slit in the top. Not too worried about the liquid content of these ones. Okay, so I'm going to do this 2 more times with the remaining pastry. And I'm going to try and make 24 of these. What I'm going to do is when there's maybe a minute left to the cook, I'm going to take a little sprinkle of the seasoning and put it over the top. Not too much, and just for maybe a minute. Because I want it to have a visual aspect as well. Now, I want to bake these for about 15 minutes. We'll come back for a taste test. Okay, welcome back. So we've got our sausage rolls done. I did put a little bit of extra seasoning across the top, just a little sprinkle. I didn't give a visual, unfortunately, but I should taste it immediately. Yeah, it was an experiment. It doesn't really add as much as I was hoping. So let's try one of these. So it's held together reasonably well. There wasn't much runoff in the old fat department. Let's try this. Well, wow. Alright, that's probably the most flavourful thing I've made on this channel so far as just punch you in the mouth flavour is concerned. For the first half second, you don't get anything. Then salt. Then it slowly starts to burn as it works up through the ginger, through the pepper, through the chilli. My mouth's actually watering off the MSG and salt. I need a glass of water already. And it is a good afterburn. This is excellent. So, I don't know how many of these I could eat. There's definitely going to be more than one. Have another. So if you've ever had salt and pepper chips or salt and pepper anything, you'll know what the flavour's like. And this comes through, and it's amazingly. Sorry, my mouth's gone so wet off the mouth watering that I'm struggling with words. The flavour just punches through. It's not disguised at all by the fat content in the sausage. Got my mouth filling with water. I think, while there's not a lot of finesse in this, it's genuinely one of the better things I've ever made. 100% recommend it. And I mean, this mix I made earlier, and I'll do a short on it. Tremendous. It's not that many ingredients when you get down to it, but everything does a job. I mean, the only thing I'm maybe not getting is the sweetness, but maybe it's just not strong enough for us to notice it. It is balancing things a bit. So to conclude, 100% recommend this. I'm surprised it hasn't been done before. At least, yeah, it's not a regular flavour in the shops. So please try it. I want to bring these into work, so work colleagues, you have an opportunity to try it. But if you want more, please like and subscribe. Give us some suggestions, and I'll do my best to make it into reality. Good night.